My name is Duncan Lepore. I am a tour guide in Gedi Ruins. I'm working here around 5 years experience. Welcome to Gedi town, but there's many towns along the coast of Africa. Those towns along the northern Mozambique, southern coast of Somalia, and northern coast of Tanzania. So was many towns along the coast of Africa. Gedi was one of the towns in northern coast of the Kilifi County in Kenya. The foreigners they used to come this place to do trading, including the Chinese, Indian, and Italian. They used to come here to do trading with the people who settled here in the 11th century and 12th century. There were Swahilis. In Kenya, they spoke Swahili and they practiced Islamic. They settled here in the 11th century and 12th century. And then they lived here about 500 years. And they were doing trading. Now in 15th and 14th century, the trade Gedi town was now well and developed very, very well. So they lived here 500 years, and then after 17th century, this place was now abandoned because of three main reasons. One, diseases, conflicts, and lack of water. They have problem of water because they were using well, like the borehole. They used to fetch water over the well, to watering their cattle, to watering their clothes, and also to drink. And finally, the well was dried and changed to salt water. So that was the main problem was the Gedi people to move away from this place in mid-17th century. Another one is diseases. Diseases was a diseases because it was not proper hygienic. Yeah. So people who used to live here in the 11th century were about 2,500 to 3,000 people. It's a very small place, but it's like plague disease was very dangerous disease that killed about 100 people a day, and killed the malaria because no proper hygiene. There was a conflict between the Swahili people and the Gala people. In fact, Gedi was the leader of Gala people or Oromo people. Was now living in Ethiopia. They were doing patrolling and semi-nomadic in Ethiopia. And also there were Kushites, it's another Bantus people in Kenya called Kushites. So it was a conflict between those people, and then was Arabs. Arabs they came here, but in a very small people. So it was a conflict between those different people who settled here 500 years. So after 1884 was another archaeologist called Sir John Kaka. He visited this place 1884. After Sir John Kaka this place was now gazetted as a historical site in Kenya. Official government of Kenya declared Gedi Ruins to be protected and heritage site in Kenya. In Kenya we have many archaeological sites including Kobihora, Olgasaile, Karemblixet, Jesus, Kapinkuria, and Iraxi, and many others archaeological sites, including Gedi Ruins. So after gazetted, now 1939, there was a repair work done by the Ministry of Public Works in Kenya. He came here, he did some repair work, some renovation for some of the collapsed houses, like the one house called House of Assistance. They came there, that house, they put some wood to support the roofing. So if you go inside that house, you can see some of the wood was put by the Ministry of Public Works in Kenya in 1939 to support the nation roof of people who used to settle here around 500 years. So Gedi 100 years now, 900 years, and then Gedi was a leader of the Oromo people, but Gedi name is a precious person. But for Muslim, this means precious, this means travelers. And now, initially this place was called Kilimani. It was called Kilimani. After now the Gedi leader defeated people here, the Swahili people, he named himself place to be called Gedi. Outside there they call Gedi, but in this pronounced correct name of Gedi, we are saying now Gedi, but the correct name is Gedi. Yeah. So 1948 and 1958, 10 years, was another archaeologist called James Kakaman. He's archaeologist, he was a British archaeologist. He came here, he stayed here 10 years, doing a major research and excavation. They discovered 45 years of here. They discovered 28 wells here. They discovered 80 mosques because in Swahili they spoke Swahili and they practice Islam. So we have many mosques between here 45 years. And also they discovered some of the two walls between here. We have the outer wall and the inner wall. Inner wall was used to live for the first class people because those people divided into different institutions. So they have the first class, second class, and third class. For the first class, they used to do trading with the Chinese, Indian, and Italian, and they used to live inside the inner wall. In between the wall, we have middle class people. They live in between the wall, and they were doing some farming, like growing sorghum and millet for their livelihood. And then outside the outer wall, now the outer wall, we have the third class who used to live there, and their houses were built using like grasses, shrubs, and many other things they were used. But their houses is now low because they cannot afford the coral stone, which is very strong material to construct the wall. Like the rich people, they were using a coral stone like this one to construct the wall. They used to brought the coral from the washes, the reef of the washes. They brought a bandit, they mix limestone, they get a mortar. A mortar is something like this one. Now they use now as a plant. This is a very original material compared to the current material, the cement. So James Kekaman, he came here, he did some excavation, he discovered some artifacts where those people they used to use, and then they named some of the houses depend what was found during the excavation. So inside electricity, they were using lamp as a light. And then that house was named Iron Lamp House because James Kekaman excavated lamp in the ground during excavation. We have many other houses like Ivory House was excavated ivories. We have porcelain house, Cowrishes house. Cowrishes house was acted as a bank because it had a very unique design structure. So it was acting as a bank actually. So some artifacts like the ceramics and porcelain and finished bead glasses, they used to come with the Chinese. And now the Swahili people, they used to sell out the ivories and animal skin as well. So James Kekaman, he did a lot of major research here, and now he named some of the houses depending on what was found or what was discovered in the house. In 1969, they started now to charge people, mainly gate or to visitors. When the visitor wanted to visit here, Gedi Ruins, you must pay something to make it good. In the 2024 last year, but 1 July was now inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage. It was now recognized internationally as the UNESCO World Heritage. So in Kenya, we have about 8 UNESCO World Heritage, including the Gedi Ruins, was the latest one, and many others like Fort Jesus, Mount Kenya, Turkana, and Arabuko-Sokoke Forest, Wikipedia Forest, and many others. Like we have about 8 in this world in Kenya. So that's the history of Gedi Ruins. Gedi is a national monument in Kenya. It's under National Museum of Kenya, and Edikwela is Nairobi Museum. We have many construction structures like we have a palace where the Sultan and the Queen used to live. And then in the palace we have the entrance, the main entrance of the palace, where the Sultan and the Queen stand on the stairs to address people over this venue. This place is a venue or a barasa where people gather during any announcement, event or meeting or conferences. When they called by the Sultan and the Queen, we came here to gather together to sit, to listen the king, what he was saying. So, and then we have a lot of folk because this Swahili town, they had a very, very civilization city. They have a lot of orders. Here we have some court like this one. We have two court here. We have the women court, the small one, and then the bigger one was men court, where Sultan used to charge men over there. The queen charged women this small court. Then we have some drainage system. Definitely technology was started earlier. They have some drainage system. They have them air cooler, a bridge. They use the coral stone to construct a bridge because the coral stone very, very nice material. They cannot absorb heat, they reflect heat. So during a lot of heat or a lot of sun, inside of these houses is totally cold. So when you came inside here, these houses very, very cold compared to outside. Yeah, you can see we have some narrow street because at that time, no construct road, they use a narrow street to transport their wood using animals like donkeys and horses to transport their wood. And also they were using those donkeys and horses to brought wood from the ocean, where brought from the boat. A boat called some of the traditional wooden boat that those people they had to use at that particular time. They used during monsoon wind, they have as a wind, and they have another wood to transport or to direct it, the boat. Yeah, come to Gedi Ruins. My name is Danka. I am a tour here. Welcome again to Gedi Ruins. Gedi Ruins and the practice land. They settled here back years, 11th century, 13th century, today, and they were doing trading. Yeah, welcome.